to that Fly story. Like the Fly got into my time machine.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that movie, The Fly?
I haven't gotten around to it yet.
Oh, it's fantastic.
I'll put it on the to-do list.
So, spoiler alert, a fly gets into his time machine and he turns him into a fly. And it's very much like the first Fly. He turns into a fly. Now, like, he's going to turn everybody else into a fly. That's not how it works, but this is the first vampire story. I liked it.
So I kind of wanted to talk about like how much story gets accomplished in this short like we've read a few short story collection type, like where each story is standalone. Like when we read classic Usagi, that kind of had the samurai short story, and it was all these classic, lone samurai wandering, Ronin stories. And I couldn't think of what other ones we've read. Maybe we've read some. It seems to lend itself to the westerns a lot.
Yeah, westerns and like maybe Jonah Hex did something like this.
Yeah, but I think the amount of story that is wedged into these 6 pages has way more than any of the other ones we've seen.
No kidding.
Maybe my favorite thing is Monsters kind of have. I mean, it was pretty dense, and that was also short story. I think that's probably the closest thing I can compare this to, because it also had a pretty similar art style.
Yeah, it did.
But that was much more childish.
This is definitely.
This is more on the creepy side.
This is definitely on the creepy side, and I kept thinking about strips. Maybe because I've been reading that Shattuck, the strips, but I kept thinking also a lot about Torpedo, which is also a strip, and it just looks, maybe the art sort of looks the same way, like Joan, his wife, really looks like a Torpedo woman type character.
When she's in the bed and he's like, I got a job, Joan, night work, and he's like collapsing into bed, he looks so like exhausted, tired, sick, in just like the perfect amount of way for the art. Like, I love that. I don't know, when you're talking about Joan, I looked at Joan, but then it was like, oh, I'm pulled away to him because he's so much cooler looking.
Yeah. He she
almost has a little vampirist quality to her hair.
Yeah,
and her scowl, eyes.
And then there's the like cheating boyfriend with her. Like, he is just like, oh, look at that mustache. Yeah. This is good stuff.
I did think it was funny that like as soon as he came home and he had a night job, she's like, well, then I'll quit my job. Like, hey, maybe like both work for a little bit.
God, I can't get over that. I'm a vampire bat. Like, just,
that's the best panels.
He's got great hair and just like, oh my God, I'm a vampire bat. James, did we find your new favorite comic?
Yes, we did.
Wow, James says
this is my next
one.
favorite comic. I gotta say, just because like I'm always leading with the art, this is by far the best art we've seen this season, in my opinion, at least. And the story was great. It was fun. It was dark. It was the only thing that, I mean, I don't know if it'll last forever as the number one. It's awful similar to my last season's number one. My favorite thing is Monsters, but the only thing is it's a little wordy.
It is, it is wordy. You got to put all those words in there to make 6 pages work.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right. So,
Larry, how did you rank it?
I put it at number 5. Which I think is pretty good for me, because I'm kind of critical about a lot of stuff, and when it gets...
no, definitely.
I felt the stories were a little too easy. They
were pretty easy. You could see them coming.
I could see them coming. I figured out the first one pretty quick. So,
yeah.
number 5 on my list. All right. So next week, James, this one could cost you $4.99, or it could cost you $1.05 or something. I saw it on the web tonight. But if you wanted to buy all 4 issues of next week's comic, Batman. Oh, James, I forgot to tell you. Oh, we'll talk about this off air.
Okay.
If you want
Batman?
If you want to, yes. Did I already say Batman?
Yeah.
It's Batman Year 1, Part 1, which will cost you $1.69, $1.06. I can't remember. Or $4 for all 4 issues, which I recommend. It's Frank Miller, written
in
1987, with art by David Mazzucchelli. And we read some David Mazzucchelli. We saw some David Mazzucchelli with Daredevil, and also another Frank Miller. Yeah, we saw
Frank Miller with Daredevil, too. That was my number 2 last year.
Yes! So, this is an origin story.
Good potential.
This is Batman.
This could be the best Batman we've read, in my opinion.
This is Batman coming back to Gotham after learning how to be a Batman in Ra's al Ghul training him to become a Batman. So it's his first year back in Gotham, and he's gonna make it right. He comes back to Gotham. It is really, really cool looking. I got the hardcover at home. I got the soft cover, and I bought the $1.97 issue. I can't believe I did it. I got it in 3 different places. I'm going to read all of them, and it's going to be awesome.
So, Larry, this is going to be an exciting one because, last season, this Frank Miller, and what's his name?
Frank Miller, David Mazzucchelli did
David Mazzucchelli combo did Daredevil, and that was my number 2. But in our first season, we read Dark Knight Return.
And it was
by Frank Miller.
It was my 52nd.
It was my very last place.
Which is, like, I'm sure if I turned the comment button on our website, you would be you would be blasted.
I didn't like the art. The art was bad.
Oh, the art was fantastic. That was Frank Miller doing the art there. All right, so come back next week, or actually come back in 2 weeks, because we're going to take a break because I'm on vacation. I forgot to tell you, James.
That's right.
So I'm going on vacation, so I might but definitely come back next week. Check out the website or whatever, because I might do a show on my own with my wife. We'll see if she wants to do it, but so we'll be back next week for sure.
I'm excited for this Batman.
And in the meantime, check out Batman Year 1, Part 1, Frank Miller, 1987. It's gonna be epic. Epic!
All right.
I don't know if it's gonna be epic or not.
Well, it'll be epic in one direction or the other.
All right, James.
All right, Larry.
Pretty good episode. Check out our website, sn1cbp.com, and check us out on Facebook. Seattle's number 1 comic book podcast on Facebook. Sorry. And cheers.
Cheers.
Hey, James, you want to know how to get really good beer?
Yeah.
Start a comic book start a comic book podcast. No.
Done.
Get yourself a club, and every week just invite people over for a club. Just we got club tonight, and they'll bring beer.
Oh, and people bring beer. Yeah. That's great.
It's a great way to get sweet beer into your house. All right, James, I'll see you next week. Oh, well, I'll see you
next week.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Sounds good, Larry.
Don't hang up. All right.
All right.